All right, back on Root Digital for the first time in a while. We've got the mountain map. Looks like I'm in the 4th seat here. Moles and Erie are options for me. Woodland Alliance and Ronin as well. Gonna just go ahead and look right past that Ronin. Don't think we want anything to do with that. As far as the remaining options, we've got a sword and another sword and a hammer. So those are good crafting options if we do want to hold those in our hand as the moles, maybe. Could maybe see like starting in this corner and keeping fox, fox, mouse as our cards. That sounds pretty good. Birds, I'd worry about keeping charismatic going if I pick them in the 4th seat. Woodland Alliance, certainly an option, but I feel like moles are just more consistent. So I also don't think I've played a moles game for the channel yet, so let's definitely pick those guys. So I think we're gonna set up in the top right here. And then we will just place our warriors. So we get 5 of them. Only 2 options adjacent to our starting clearing, unfortunately, but I still think being able to keep those 3 cards matching our clearings is the best way to go. Now we'll wait for the other selections. Good luck, have fun. So it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I haven't really had time to edit anything. I did have a video in the works about a tournament I was playing in, but then unfortunately the tournament got canceled in the semifinal and final rounds. So I'm not sure if I'll make a full video about it. It was fun though. It was the Tweaked tournament run by Thewie. They just didn't have time to stream the remaining games with their busy schedule, which is completely understandable. I do have footage for the other games though, so I might, put something together for it at some point. It was pretty fun. Tweaked as in like they made some slight balance adjustments that they were testing, such as the mole's mayor being tweaked to copy a daylight action instead of copying another noble or squire. Stuff like that. So it looks like we've got the birds here. Going charismatic. Hopefully they'll have to put 2 cards in move. Really wish they displayed all factions during pick. Yeah, I forgot. Doesn't show y'all yet. Been a while since I played digital. You've got otters, Woodland Alliance, Ronin left. So yeah, I'm not gonna be editing this video in the style that I've been editing my other videos. I've been busy with school, but I'll probably just cut out the dead space while we wait for picks. Other than that, though, I will probably just upload it as is. I might not even do that, so stick it on 1.5 speed or something. Yeah. I was just itching to record something, and I had a little downtime tonight, so I figured why not. Now this is a live game. I've set it up as asynchronous so that everyone has time to make their decisions and we have a better game as a result. Now, is that the best for a YouTube video, maybe not, but I wanted it to be a good experience for the other players. Let me know in the comments if you guys would prefer that we play with a timer next time, because I can do that. Interesting, sticking one otter in the tower. I like that because the other factions available can't overrule you on the first turn unless the Ronin comes in there and decides to kill one otter for basically no reason. Well, let's check out their cards now too. Mouse in a Sack, Sabo, Tunnels, Rabbit Partisan, Smuggler's Trail. But yeah, unless the Ronin decides to kill that otter, you get a free point from it. And then if the Eerie come battle it, which they likely will, to fulfill their decree, you only lose one otter instead of potentially 3. So I like that setup choice. The tower is going to be interesting. I'm probably going to have to try and keep the birds off of it. Otherwise, they're going to be scoring a few too many points for my liking, I think. And Woodland Alliance, yeah, that's about how I expected the draft to go, except I thought Woodland Alliance would be second seat and Otters would be first. But yeah, this is... I didn't expect anyone to pick the Ronin. Adjust my chair a little bit. Table is set. Yes, it is. This is the first time I've played Root Digital in several months. I took what was gonna be a short break from playing the Digital League, and then it just kind of got longer because once I got out of the habit of playing several async turns a day, I didn't really want to get back into it. See any cards they want to keep? Not particularly, but thanks. So obviously we can't keep the Sabo, and then we have 2 Fox, 1 Mouse. The sword is a craftable, so we'd rather keep that over the much less useful for us League, because our crafting is going to take place in the mid to late game. And we're off to the races. Considering where to spread their sympathy. By the way, just so I have something to talk about right now, I have been still playing Root, just not for the channel and not for the league, just tabletop with my friends in person. I've had some good games. We had a 5-player game yesterday that was 10 turns long. It was quite the grindy matchup. We had the birds in the 5th seat, Tinker in the 4th seat, then lizards, then I was rats in the 2nd seat, and then crows in the 1st seat. And we played with the Dawn and Dusk deck, which I recently printed out, made by Endgamer and It's Rudimentary. Very fun deck. And oh, they're gonna undo that. And yeah, it was a very grindy matchup with the Vagabond, crows, and lizards disrupting my oppression. It was very difficult to score many points on a given turn, so I didn't have high hopes for winning. My other option was Badgers, but I thought Badgers would do pretty much just as poorly, if not worse, in the matchup, and I only had a single bird card in my starting hand, whereas I did have the hammer, which I knew I could just get 2 prowess right off the bat. But yeah, it was a fun game. We've played a couple games with the Dawn and Dusk deck now. I really like it. I'll try to remember to put a link to the Google Drive for that in either the description or the pinned comment. If I don't, someone who's interested, just leave a comment and remind me, and I'll post it in a reply. But yeah, it's very fun. Otter's gonna set down a trade post after the Woodland Alliance takes up the upper left corner of the map, which is good for me. I'm not going to complain about that because then birds don't have to trigger any outrage. Although they have just made a very appetizing target for the birds there in the tower clearing. But yeah, we did play on the mountain map with the Lost City instead of the tower. It was a fun game overall. I know I just said that, but the lizards did end up winning it because the game went long enough that they were able to keep up in scoring. And no, I did not break 20, unfortunately. I ended at 19. I considered going for dominance at one point because it looked like the birds might turn well, but then they didn't, so it didn't really seem feasible. Yeah. Yep. Technically you could do woodland lines too, but that wouldn't make much sense. Oh, and I do normally try to stream the tabletop games that I play, but because I'm at school, I don't really have a good setup for doing that. If you were wondering why that one didn't get live streamed, we don't really have a good way to do it. Also, the lighting's really bad, so it probably wouldn't look that good anyway. Just be one. How would it just be one if you wanted to? If you wanted to build there too, you'd have to battle in there. Do otters have an ambush? They didn't draw on their turn, no. Oof. All right, well, I think there's pretty much no better turn for us opening up as the moles than just recruiting twice. And as we have no minister actions yet, we'll just go straight to swaying and take the brigadier. I don't really think we really need to think about it too much. We could have maybe moved a couple moles away from the birds, but an action spent moving is then an action that we don't get to recruit more moles. So like, I don't necessarily think that's worth it either. Now next turn, we do have the movement capability with the brigadier now online. But I think that was still probably our best play, even though there are 3 moles about to get obliterated by this God of War. It's interesting because with Eerie having the tower and a turn advantage over me, I'm going to have to find a way to slow them down. Otters might be able to help like a little bit, but I might have to make a relatively vulnerable building at some point. I'm not sure though. Maybe I should just race. I can't really tell yet. Bad luck on supporter start. Oh, I didn't even realize that they just didn't do anything. That's a rip. That's a rip for sure. But the otters now have drawn a few things. Let's see, maybe they have anything good here. Prop bureau's good. They're gonna need a couple more trade posts out before they can use it though. Prop bureau, very nice for the otters. Completely changes the price of recruitment for them, though you can only use it once per turn. And it could help for taking out eerie roosts as well, and, you know, lightly defended tunnels as well, I suppose. I like Propaganda Bureau a lot for the otters. The problem is it usually takes so long to get 3 trade posts built that it only ends up being used 3 or 4 times a game. But they have it early enough that they can plan around that. So that's something for them to consider for sure. Birds, I imagine, are just going to add another card to move, come in here, smack me, and build in a safe, empty clearing. I don't see why they'd do anything else. Now, I, on the other hand, maybe have a decision to make. I'll probably use my brig to move this mole down here. And if any survive in here, well, they won't be able to move through because they won't rule, so never mind. Well, we can revisit whether or not we can truly afford to ignore the Woodland Alliance. I think with the way they started, though, they're going to have a really hard time generating supporters because there's no reason for anyone to go into that corner of the map as things stand. I certainly won't. Birds have no reason to. They're going to come hit me anyway. Yep, they did add a card to move. A bird card at that. Gonna go grab their safety build clearing, then probably move 3 in to attack me, I imagine. That's nice though, because that gives me the opportunity to maybe snipe a roost. Though actually I imagine they'll just build in this clearing. Oh, a 1/1. Okay, so then they'll probably build actually in the other clearing now. Because that would force me to tunnel, and they, of course... Well, it wouldn't force me to tunnel, but it would... So, normally I'd like to recruit twice here, but I don't know that I can afford to, because I want to take out this roost. I don't want the birds to get too out of control too fast. Or would it maybe make more sense? I could also just tunnel straight into the tower and try and cut them off. No one's discarded any ambushes or anything yet, right? So it would be pretty risky. They've already got 7 points though. I have to try it, I think. So I could recruit once, but should I? I think I dig into the tower. I mean, yeah, you might as well use the other action to recruit, even though you can't bring it with you. Spend false orders to tunnel into the tower. Try and get a little aggressive with these birds earlier, or else they're going to get out of control. Use Brigadier to initiate a battle here. Hopefully no ambush. Nice. Alright, so we now rule the clearing. We'll hope for at least a 2 here. And we get it. Nice, so that'll net us 2 points. And we can just use our same cards now and sway the mayor, which is the standard opening for moles. Taking the Brigadier followed by the mayor to get as flexible of an action economy as we can early in the game. That's a bird card, that stinks, but it is what it is. Birds are going to come right back into this tower and smack me, and I'm not going to have the forces to fight back, unfortunately, because I only have 1 mole. I can't really keep up the recruiting power. If only we had access to the Daylight Mayor in this game, I could recruit twice and then dig, but as it stands, I can only recruit once and dig in the same turn. That being said, I can recruit twice, move them into this upper right clearing, then move them in that way using Brig, then battle with Mayor, because we've got the Mayor online now. So that's another possibility. Woodland Alliance is going to establish their base now, which is nice because they can maybe start pressuring the Eyrie a little bit on that front. Maybe they use a battle to clear sympathy instead of attack me. I doubt it, but I imagine they don't want their roost to get destroyed if they can help it. It's not going to happen this turn, though. They're going to just defend their base with a recruit, I imagine. Hopefully they have a card to train so that they can more quickly move to organizing next turn. Another thing to consider is the paths. The only faction that really wants to spend their cards on opening paths is the Otters. Erie's going to have a low card count for most of the game. I am not going to want to get rid of my cards for that. Woodland Alliance is going to want to... Oh, they're repositioning to what could potentially be a better clearing if and when that path gets cleared. And they are going to train. So they've moved to a clearing in which they can now train their officer. Unless they use the bird card. It doesn't tell me what card they spend. Weird. I'm going to guess that they had to change it because of the suit. Or they decided to change it because of the suit. That would make the most sense to me. Though this clearing does now have... yeah, it doesn't really have much upside over the other one, to be honest. Because that upper left corner has sympathy in it already. If it gets removed for some reason, then you have a bit of an upside. I'll give you that. They're just hemmed in at the moment, though, because we've got 3 warriors in each of the adjacent clearings. Setting up some martial law. I'm not going to complain about that. Did they draw a card? What did they do? They did. Ah, Root T and Mouse Partisans. Both good. Fortunately, none of the mouse gardens are critical to our game plan. Fox Partisans might be a little more concerning, because I imagine we're going to be fighting the birds and scrapping over that tower a good deal, at least as much as we can manage without building a citadel, because, you know, losing a citadel is pretty bad. And we can't afford to even think about building one for probably another turn. So we want to get a... We'd love to get a lord this turn, but the small problem is we'd lose our bird card. So I don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to instead opt to sway the formal, which will set up a pivot later in the game, where we can build a couple buildings using formal and mayor, score some points with our corresponding lord, and craft a sword. Yep, Otter's going to clear a path. No one else is taking those points. They're all yours. How many funds are they working with right now? 5, okay. And they're going to move into the tower and rule it, I imagine, for an extra point. That would make sense to me. Yep, here they come. Pretty solid. I might consider buying from the Otters if we need to, like, unite against the Eyrie at some point. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Oh, did they? Oh, they already had committed that one to moving. So then they drew a crossbow. Nice. We just want to keep an eye out for that third sword card, because in an ideal world, we get to craft both swords. I don't see it necessarily happening, but ideally we would get to. I could see a swing turn where we craft a sword and a hammer, though, if we're able to build 3 buildings in a turn. Certainly a possibility. We use one of our daylight actions, then we use formal mayor. Score those 3 buildings for 3 points, craft for another 4 with sword and hammer. That's a big swing. The thing is, everyone knows I have those cards because I've been revealing them every turn. So there is that slight complication. And what did they just add to their decree? I totally spaced. It was a bird card, but I don't know which. And this isn't gonna tell me. Oh man, I gotta pay more attention. They're gonna take some coins, okay. They're gonna get 2 more points from roosts and probably gonna get a point from my, well, there's a decent chance they get a point from my tunnel. Hopefully they don't rule the tower. Hopefully they take a hit battling me. That's assuming they bring 3. They might bring 4 or 5. Though I don't think they have the warrior count to do that. Gonna bring some extras in here. And then move them. Okay. So not gonna contest the tower, just gonna try and root out the moles at the source. They fail to take my tunnel, which is good for me. And build in that central location just surrounding that tower. So they have 10 points at the end of the turn. That is fine. Cards. We could think about it later, but for now I don't really think it makes much sense. I imagine they might be a little wary of someone purchasing mercenaries is another reason to potentially avoid the tower, because they don't want to battle the otters, but they also don't want me to buy mercenaries and use that to attack them. So they didn't have an ambush and fox last turn, which is a advantage of playing on digital that I am going to take advantage of because I can't pretend like I don't know that. So there's a chance they drew it, a bird ambush or a fox ambush. We still don't know where any of the ambushes are, I believe. Correct. We do know that Coffin Makers is in the discard though, so that's good to know. And 2 coins, so there's only 1 floating out there and 1 in the supply left to be crafted. So let's think about this. We could just swing at the birds right away and try and take out their roost. The thing is, we could also position ourselves better before that happens. And so I think I'm leaning towards bringing the 2 moles down, bringing 1 in, so it's now 3-2, and then attacking. I think that gives us better odds, you know, well, if there's an ambush, it doesn't matter either way. You might as well preserve the extra warrior because you're not going to take the clearing regardless. It does guard against the 1 bad roll, or no, I guess there are 4 bad rolls, 2-2, 3-2, the other 3-2, and 3-3. So yeah, that's probably the best course of action, I think. It's a shame we're not going to be scoring that many points this turn, but it's okay. Just going to build up our forces a little bit. We can't think about pivoting to any buildings yet either. So let's just bring in those. Let's activate our mayor to copy Brigadier and battle the birds. They still do not have an ambush. So we didn't need to make that move, but I think it was the safest one available to us. We could have maybe battled the otters to get an extra point from the tower, but I think that would have been a little greedy and perhaps angered the otters against us, which we don't need right now. We need good relations because I think there's a very real chance we're going to have to collaborate a bit. And by collaborate, I just mean I'm probably going to have to purchase from them. Let's reveal these 2 to sway the 4 mole. And we get another fox card, which I'm not going to complain about because there's plenty of fox near us. Birds probably are going to add another card to battle on their turn. I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to catch up to them in terms of scoring. Probably going to have to convince the otters to hit them at least once in the upcoming turns. Arcs is finished. The new game that Leader's working on, they've finished development, and so it should be shipping out to Kickstarter backers in the next couple months, I believe. But they said now that they're done with that, Cole Worley is now working on a potential expansion for Oath, which is very exciting. But more relevant to this channel, Joshua Yearsley, who worked on the Badgers for the Marauder expansion, is looking into new root factions, which is cool. I believe Patrick Leader said that, I believe it was like jokingly, but he was really pushing for frogs and bats as the two new animals for the factions. Of course, the animals are the easiest part, but frogs and bats would be pretty cool, I think. Woodland Alliance with a pretty solid turn there. Organizing in the Eerie clearing, so that potentially takes a battle away from me. The Otter's going to pick up that tunnel so the Eerie don't get it. Very nice. I'm glad to see that. So that means the Eerie probably are just going to attack me in the tower clearing. That's okay. I mean, maybe the Otters will do it, which like would be annoying, but at least the Eerie aren't getting a tunnel point. Oh, gonna spend Propaganda Bureau to clear a path. Okay, what cards did they want to keep over Prop Bureau? Sabo Crossbow. Yeah, that's fair. Probably just gonna grab that T right now, I imagine. They're doing pretty well. Of course, that trade post does cut into their action economy a bit, but I think they're in a decent spot, all things considered. Good thing for us on our upcoming turn is we will hopefully be getting a 3-point sway in the Baron of Dirt, and we have the flexibility to tunnel anywhere as we do so using our bird card, which is very nice. They're going to craft the crossbow as well. Yeah, that's a good turn for the Otters. And they've still got actions left, so they might even move and swing at the birds. Or they might move and swing at me. Oh, they still haven't taken the tunnel yet. They're definitely going to do that. Never mind. And then they'll probably move back to the tower, and they'll end the turn at 13 points. Yeah, that's very nice. Can't complain about that. Oh, they're going to leave? They're going to leave the tunnel? Well, they already drew now, so now they have to choose between tunnel and tower. They did just draw, so now they have to choose between tower and tunnel. They're probably just gonna pick tower, and I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't waste the card on ambushing them, though. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to leave it defended. Okay. Yeah, maybe the Eerie will leave that if it's really though it's fine if the Eerie remove your trade post because you get to place another trade post there. And the river clearings are the easiest for you to access, so I wouldn't be too hurt personally if the Eerie took my trade post there. The tunnel though I am gonna be sad about because there's no There's no upside to having a tunnel removed from the map, unfortunately. Because even if all 3 are out, if I want to place a new one, I can just move an existing tunnel to do so. Not that that like should ever happen, because the moles are too good for people to be letting them have 3 tunnels, but that is what happens. Okay, so there's the rabbit ambush. Rabbit ambush locked up for probably the rest of the game in the decree, so got to keep that in the old dome. There is a chance that one of the bird cards in recruit is a bird ambush, and I didn't see it, so that's another thing to think about. I think birds probably take the sympathy and the tunnel, which is a shame for me. I guess that does leave me the trade post, which is the cardboard I'd most like to get. Oh, maybe they're not gonna do that. Oh, because they can't revolt there. It's a bunny clearing. Yeah, never mind. They're not gonna take the sympathy. Yep. So they're gonna take the tunnel with that one bird. They're gonna fight me in the tower clearing. Yep, and I don't have an ambush. That would be a situation where I think it would be worth spending a card to ambush if I had one. There goes my tunnel. And the birds, unfortunately, did not lose a warrior, so they're gonna get a point for the tower as well. And now I have to ask what my angle is, right? I could potentially buy from otters. I don't see that helping them this turn. Oh, I could buy mercenaries and use them to battle birds, but they don't have a roost there again, so well played by the birds to do that and avoid me there. Leaving the tunnel. Oh no, because I need 3 fox clearings. I could do one more turn of not really. No, I gotta fight the birds. They're gonna get out of control if I don't. But I can do. No. Because. Yeah, I can't move here and then also there. So I need to get my sway this turn for sure. Got 1 fox clearing, 1 mouse clearing. Need 2 more fox clearings, which would be here and there. That probably means we want to tunnel into this fox clearing and then battle there against the Eerie. Even though it's the best defended clearing, it is also the suit that we have the most information about thanks to the way digital works. It is a fox clearing. We know they didn't have a fox ambush last time. I guess no, we know for a fact that the rabbit ambush is in the decree, so we do know a bit more about rabbit. But if we tunnel into here, we use 2 battles, then we can still use a move to set up our sway. Alternatively, we could, if we had to, use the bird card as a flex card to get our sway. And if that were the case, if only this wasn't a bunny clearing, because then we could do move, move, battle, battle, but then we wouldn't have a second fox. So yeah, I think the best course of action is going to be to tunnel into here with a soup kitchens. Bit lower odds in terms of our ability to actually take out the roost here. Oh. But I think it's the best course of action. Because, you know, we'll assess after we see the rolls. But, okay, that's good. We do need another 2 in order to be able to take out the roost. And we get it. Nice. The dice have been kind to me so far. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, though. And then I think for the mayor action, I would like to, of course, copy the brig, go for moves. Now, here's the question. Do you get a mole and bunny? Probably, right? and then you get this one up into the fox. Because, yeah, another mouse is cool and all, but this one's relatively safe. I don't see a reason for anyone to take it out. The only thing is, it makes the tunnel accessible with only one battle. They probably come hit it anyway, though, right? I wouldn't want them to get 2 points battling me. Definitely one of them is going to be a move into here. The question is, do we want to move the other one at all? And it's for a clearing we don't even know we're going to need that suit. Like, if we need it, we can always... Bunny is relatively hard to access, so I think having the insurance would be nice. Let's just move it. Bunny is relatively hard to access given our current position, I think. So let's skip that. Let's take the Lord. Let's take the Baron here. Gonna reveal our whole hand in order to make that sway, but it'll give us 3 points. Puts us still in... Like, we're on pace. We're still threatening, as moles pretty much always are. But the birds are on, of course, a very good pace. If we could find a spare turn to sway, like the captain or the marshal, probably the marshal, that would be nice. But I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to need to keep up the tempo and keep swaying those high value ministers so we can score. That's a clearing you don't want the Woodland Alliance to have. The nice thing is, though, Erie might be more hesitant to move in there now because they'll have to spend a card on Outrage, and they've only got 2. Now, they could add both of those to the decree, and Woodland Alliance aren't necessarily a problem right now, so they wouldn't feel too bad giving them another supporter, right? Their supporters are... Yeah, they're relatively low. And by relatively low, I mean 1. So yeah, they're very low. I was looking at the wrong number. They do have 4 officers, though. That's pretty nice. Unfortunately, there's only 1 clearing left for them to organize in that is adjacent to their base, which is a shame. Good thing also that I got my mole in there before the Woodland Alliance got their hooks in the clearing. Interesting that they're going to move 2. That might have been a misclick. That would make me think they're potentially protecting like a coins craft or something. But that 1 warrior would be probably a dead action, as you'd have to move it back to the base to get any value out of it. Very unlikely they'll be able to move it out later because of the 1 mole being there. Okay, so it looks like they are going to elect to defend that sympathy, which makes me really suspicious that there's going to be coins coming next turn. Not that really I can do anything about it because I don't want to lose cards and I don't care that much, I don't think, but that's what I imagine is going to happen. Otters. This is going to be interesting to see what they decide to do, because maybe we can make a deal here. Birds are set to score... Let's see, they're set to score 2 from roosts, 1 from tower. That's 3 plus 5. See what they say to that. Yeah, birds set to score pretty well. Me, I could get another Lord Sway, but the birds are probably going to make that hard for me. And then I could maybe get the trade post, but I'd probably prefer to take a roost again, because I pretty much have to. If I get the roost and trade post, that'd be great, but the otters have elected to leave one warrior there to defend it. So probably not going to be able to get that, unfortunately. We also have the small matter of the Woodland Alliance setting up and threatening a revolt in a clearing where I have a tunnel and 2 moles. I don't love that. If the birds don't take that sympathy, I might eat the loss and give up a card. But I could also get ambushed, which would be a real shame. And waste of actions. They are not interested in the tunnel. Fair. I'm just curious what their plan is then. They haven't responded to my offer of striking some sort of deal. Birds are ahead of me scoring wise and have control of the tower nearly every turn for extra points. Oh, well. Yeah, if they don't even want to, like, request that I purchase something in exchange for this, okay. Okay, yeah. They may be reconsidering that choice. No, they're just bringing all 4. Okay, interesting. So I'm confused. Oh, they're trade posting. Okay. Now I'm confused because they did just say they were thinking about hitting my moles. So are they just going in there, trade posting, and moving out? In that case, I'm a little concerned because that's another free point for the birds. If you're going to do this, you're going to want to take out the roost. Like, I understand the moles are the moles and all that, but you can't just be handing out free points to the birds. Clearing the path is always nice. Yeah, they're not interested. That's a shame. Birds now have 2 free points in that clearing. Yeah, that is gonna sting. Willing to make a purchase. I don't need to. Yeah, I don't think I can stop the birds myself. And I think that this is the turn where they might get out of control, as it were. Now they're going to start swap meeting me as well. Yikes. That is scary. That is scary. But it's okay. We're down, but we're not out. Moles always have that extra bit of gas in the tank. Now, here's a thought. Is this the turn I build my buildings. No, it's not, because I need another lord if I'm going to build 3. Do I want to just build 2 and get a sword? An interesting idea. Certainly an interesting idea. No, because if I build 2 and get a sword, I can't sway a lord this turn. I could build 2 buildings, sway banker. Oh, but then I'd lose my bird card. But I'd have markets and I'd draw more. It's an idea. I'm interested to see what the birds are going to do this turn. Have the otters drawn into an ambush yet? They have the other coins. And the other sword. I do in fact have the anvil and 2 swords. Otters will probably craft one of the swords before I get the chance to craft my second sword. But it is true that I do have 2 swords. Since the otters are in the game, I think it's a good idea to try and prioritize banker. I don't know if it will be this turn, but the ability to buy extra cards from the otters to use for banker on the final turn might give us the edge that we need. That's that mole BS, as we like to call it. Yeah, so I certainly can't blame the otters for not being receptive to working with me there, but I had to try. Yep, so bird's gonna take my tunnel for a point. Interestingly, they're gonna pass on the tower. They're gonna take the trade post for a free point as well, though, I imagine. Yep. Good chance they take that other one too, right? Or did they not add a card? No, they did. So they probably take out my sway mole, but yeah, they most likely just take out my sway mole. But they're thinking about the trade post. I mean, it's certainly enticing. And if they get that trade post, they are then at 19. And I will be trailing, I would say, considerably at that point. Hopefully, whoever they choose to battle, they lose 1 warrior in the roll, because that would make taking their roost a little bit easier. I'm low on warriors, so that would be nice. We also have the Woodland Alliance Revolt to contend with, so I have to keep that in the back of my head. Yeah, I think this is probably the turn we sway banker. Next turn is the turn that we build and craft the sword. And then we prepare for the end game. And on our second to last turn, we do some more crafting, and then our final turn we activate banker. Is I think what I'm looking at right now. Alternatively, because on the turns that we build, we're not going to be able to sway high value folks. We get a lord this turn, then we try to set up a situation where we can have a banker sway and 2 builds. Yeah, that probably sounds better, I think. I think we get the Earl of Stone this turn, because there's no way we're going to have 3 tunnels for Duchess of Mud. Yeah, that is a good point, birds. That is a good point. Yeah, I've certainly been weakened, but battling me there is what I expected. A 0-0. I'm not going to complain about. Pump and dump, I know what they mean is not quite what we refer to as pump and dump. Pump and dump isn't really done at all. Not really, no. Moles do typically abandon buildings. Yeah, pump and dump was a fad in the meta, if you could call it that. Like, it was something that people freaked out over for a little bit during the Underworld days, and as near as I can tell, never really was that effective. But if there was a game to try, it would be one with the otters, that's for sure. I think my play is, since I already have everything set up for a sway, to go into this upper bunny, take out the roost, hopefully with some decent rolls, and then if we have some left over, we can take out the trade post. True, you prob take one of the swords, though. Alright, so I think that I need to keep, and I'm losing all of my warriors because I need to slow down birds as much as possible. So we're looking at a brig battle against birds. No ambush is nice. I did forget about the thing. So the thing being the sympathy. So now we have to choose. Oh, Woodland Alliance has one supporter. We don't have to choose. We're good. We'll battle that roost. And then otters have no ambushes. It doesn't really make sense for me to battle with anything else. I'd like to try and get the point if I can, and I got it. Nice. Formal, we're not interested in this turn. We could build a building, but Yuri would just come in and ransack it. It's not the time for that. Instead, we will take our Earl of Stone. Yeah, not going to complain about that turn at all. Give Billy a salute. Alright, so I'm interested to see what the Woodland Alliance does here if they're not able to establish this base then. Yeah, there's not much for them because they can't spread. Organizing is going to be tough. They're kind of just hemmed in from their starting position, unfortunately. was an upstanding trade post owner. Sorry it had to be this way. Woodland Alliance gonna rethink that one. Oh, all right. I like it. Getting a little aggressive here. Are we moving through or are we... I assume we're moving through. Either way, this is an aggressive position to take. Are they just completely abandoning the base? Because honestly, that might be the right move at this point. Looks like they are. Are they going to move the one back? Oh, nope. They're just ending their turn. I love it. I love it. Because now they've set this one up for a bunny revolt if they have the chance to do it in later turns because it's defended. The woodland is a harsh place indeed. Yeah, this might be the Woodland Alliance's best way back into the game at this point because it gets them into a better position. Yes, they do lose a couple officers. It's going to set them back for sure, and I don't know if they have the time to recover in this matchup because it's been pretty fast-paced so far. Luckily, we have my ministers at the bottom as a turn counter. We are on turn 6. Because I've had 5 turns already and the otters are now on their 6th turn. But it's going pretty fast. We're looking to have a close by turn 8 likely, I would imagine. Which means I really need to start thinking about how I'm gonna make this Smol to Swole pivot, as they like to say. Otter's gonna take some coins instead of the sword. That's fair. You know, the otters are starting to look a little threatening. Ooh. 2 funds left. Got a sword to craft. An axe to grind. They've got 2 more paths to clear, so if they can also just rule the tower this turn. Yep, and they're going to do that. If they're going to give me another trade post, I'll certainly take it, but I imagine the birds are going to come decimate that clearing, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. The nice thing is, though, I've got everything in... Oh, if I have to spend a card to tunnel, that's a problem. So, I might just build in the clearing with the Woodland Alliance and say, oh well, you can have it, otters, and just hope that they don't get a win off of it, right? Because, if I build twice in the clearing with the Woodland Alliance, otters would get 3 free points plus a sympathy for 4 free points. How many funds are they going to be working with? 7. 7 funds. So move, battle, battle. Oh, what'd they take? They took the sword. That's huge. That's huge. So back to what I was saying. Without the sword, this becomes a more viable strategy for me now because they only got the 7 funds. They've got move, battle. And that's assuming the Woodland Alliance doesn't revolt and just take out all my stuff, which is quite possible. Or they take the points to themselves, which would be fine by me. The question is, does that put me in position to win? A banker sway is 2 points. 2 more points from the markets. Baron of Dirt is what I'm thinking of. 2 more points from the crafting. And then I could battle a trade post, getting me to like 23. Then I could... Oh, maybe I don't want to battle a trade post because I'd like to have the ability to purchase twice. Erie going to take the path point while they can, yeah. So I think our ideal turn... but using Mayor... Yeah, we're not going to be able to remove any roosts most likely this turn, unfortunately. We could maybe move these 3 down in battle if they don't get wiped, but I imagine they will. They don't have the roosts to craft the sword, thankfully. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to try and stop the birds winning in 2 turns. What did they add to their decree, by the way? Yeah, double build. I was expecting it. Which means we really need to take out a roost, because they're gonna have, how many birds do they have left to recruit? Nah, they're comfortable. They're looking to score 3 from roosts, probably at least 2 from cardboard. 1 from the tower couldn't hurt. Getting them to like 25, and yeah, that's like GG territory unless we remove several roosts. But I don't know if I can afford to. I maybe need to be greedier a turn earlier. Only 1 warrior defending that roost is nice. Yep, they're gonna take the tower for another point. They're gonna battle me. They're gonna take my tunnel. And then probably the trade post as well. Oh. Sure. And now the Woodland Alliance rule. That's unfortunate for them. Good for me, though. And now they gotta... Yeah, they're gonna take the tunnel. And roll a 0-0. That doesn't matter, but that's crazy that they've rolled 2 so far. Now they build and get 3 more points, so they're gonna end at 23. 7 they can certainly stretch for. They're gonna build which in a place that allows them to set up the sword craft. If I had to guess, yep. My question is, what the heck do I do? Do I buy a card? I don't think so. Alright, so I've got everything set up to sway, right? Bunny, mouse, fox. So this movement into bunny to cover for future turns has turned out to be critical. I think we're going to decline otters this turn, and we'll certainly think about it next turn. But, So here's an idea, right? We move one of the moles over and battle the birds here twice with Brig. Mayor Formal is building. We move 1 so we can afford to recruit 1, right? That sounds good as anything. We're not going to be able to take more than 1 roost, so then we have to convince the otters to do some of the work, I guess. Assuming we're not handing them the win, which I don't think we are, because they have no foreign funds to trade post with, and they're only going to have 7. I don't think they can quite get there. So I think our play is recruit 1, use a daylight action, which is a little weird, but seems to be the best we've got, to move here. Question. Have we seen literally any ambushes besides that rabbit one that went to the decree? Ah, fox ambush. So that makes me feel a little better. Now, birds really don't care about getting rid of a bird card at this point. Otters don't have any. All right. Well, we'll just have to hope for the best, because that still seems like the best course of action. So, Mayor to copy formal, to build. We'll use the sword here. Oh, I've actually got to undo, because we want to abandon the clearing so that we can lose, only suffer the price of failure once. So let's go back. Decline. All right. So we recruit once. This, oh wait, hold on. So we recruit once. This move should be both. No, it can't be both. What am I saying? Then I can't build. It does have to be 1. And so then, in the case that I get a 3 rolled against me, I get a 3 rolled against me, I take out the warrior and both buildings in one go. If I get a 2 rolled against me, I take out the warrior in the tunnel. No, it still works fine. It still works fine. So let's use formal. Build here with our Foxfolk Steel. I'll mark it. And then build here again using our mayor. Copying the formal. With our anvil. Another market. Then, Baron of Dirt for 2 points. Good. Next, Brigadier. Hope for a good roll against the birds. And we get it. Very nice. We have a chance then. Not a particularly high one, but it's a chance nonetheless. We'll take the banker for 2. Then we will craft. We've got 3 fox clearings. This one's going to get wiped out though. So I'd prefer to craft with the fox suited sword, I believe. That's putting us at 24. So we're definitely in range now. We're definitely in range. We just have to hope it makes it back to us, I think. And we're going to get 3 cards, so that's giving us our choice of what we want to use. I think this clearing's fairly safe. These ones I'm more concerned about. I like the bird as a flex for banker, though I've just realized keeping the 4 fox suited cards plus the crossbow means all we have to do with our actions is find 1 point, and that can just be like ruling the tower maybe. We might not be able to do that. And then the rest would just be banker. But with banker mayor, I don't think we should worry too much about that. Like, we'll have the flexibility. I think, honestly, we toss the other sword. Are we really going to worry about swaying? Like, that's the only thing we care about suits for, right? Are we really going to worry about swaying when we get better value out of banker? Probably not, I imagine. And so I think we do toss the sword, and we do toss the tunnels, and then we keep a full hand of fox cards and a bird card. We'll lose one of them the price of failure. Oh, right, we'll lose one of them the price of failure. So we will have to probably build 1 building to craft our hammer. We'll have to find a way to build 1 building, which means we'll probably have to spend another card. And we might lose the hammer to price of failure. So in that case, we probably want to keep the sword. Bag, boot. So I think we get rid of tunnels, and I think we get rid of fox partisans. I think that's final answer. That gives us the most flexibility with craftables to push us across the finish line. And keep in mind, we also get to buy 1 card from the otters, maybe 2 if they set up another trade post, but probably just 1. I think that was the best discards, because then it gives us craftables in any suit for now, which means we'll have 2 suits available, guaranteed, even if one of them gets price of failured away. The only question now is, do birds just have it? If otters don't clean up my buildings, I can assure you that they do. So I had to leave the buildings there, but if birds get them, they just win. They're in a good spot regardless, but if they get those, it's basically a guarantee. Woodland Line's gonna take it. Nice. So we've got to choose 2 casualties. Let's just make sure we do this right. Choose both of these. Price of failure only going to trigger once. Let's see what we lose. The sword. And return our Earl of Stone as a price of failure. question is, do they take the tunnel as well? No. What are they doing then? Ah, organizing in the tower clearing. Interesting. So they didn't even set up a base. And I guess that's fair because... Oh, wait. They didn't go back and defend their base. Yeah, I think birds probably have it. I tried to fight them. And, you know, I tried to maybe strike a deal with the otters. That's okay, though. Bird's going to score 4 from roosts as it stands, plus free cardboard, yeah. 4 from roosts, plus free cardboard. Yeah, that's okay. I think we put up a pretty good fight as the moles. We definitely didn't have the breathing room to set up a citadel, I don't think. Maybe if we did it on turn 1 while the birds were still getting online, we could have justified it. It was difficult, though. You know... We were in 4th seat, which is a good spot to be, don't get me wrong. But on the mountain map, the games feel so fast with the tower and with the closed paths also rewarding points. We tried to keep up, we did. This is only turn 7, right? So when I said an 8-turn finish, I was just unfortunately wrong. I think birds have it. Do otters have a chance? They can... I imagine they're just going to try and get as many points as they can, which is fair. Maybe I should have bought from them to try and convince them, but I didn't want to just give them the win. I think once they got their sword taken, they didn't have it either way, so I probably should have done that and made that purchase. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. That was definitely the right play. Now, if it gets back to me by some miracle, I do have a pretty good chance. It's not quite guaranteed, but it's a pretty good chance. The only thing is I would... Well, if I have that lone mole in that fox clearing, I would have it guaranteed, but I don't imagine that would happen. Yeah, birds pretty much got this. Nice to take out the roost, I think, but I think they have it either way. Yeah. And all you can do now is move back to guard your trade post from them, which doesn't matter too much when there's all that free sympathy on the board. Woodland Alliance make endgames a breeze, man. Without them, you really feel the absence of the free cardboard in games where they're not there. You're trying to grind it out for every point you can muster. This is a good game though, and I think honestly the Woodland Alliance, what are they looking like? Only 2 supporters, so that maybe they don't have it on their turn, but they're at least, you know, close. I think the birds will be wrapping it up here though. Well played to Timothy and the Erie Dynasties. And I hope you all enjoyed watching this one. Glad I could finally record a Moles game. I'm 90% sure this is the only game I haven't, or the only faction I haven't uploaded a game with to the channel yet. And they did just take my hammer, so that would make my potential win path harder. Good thing they didn't take the boot though. I didn't really think about that. Because then they could craft that for a point and make it easier. Though, there's a chance they just have that anyway. Yeah, so that makes the path a little trickier. Now it makes our preferred place to build is going to be in that mouse clearing for a bag. But I don't think it's really worth even talking about it because that bird's got all the free cardboard they could ever want on the map. Excuse me. All the free cardboard they could ever want on the map. They're in no danger of turmoil. I mean, look at how many bird cards they got. My gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they put a bird card in the decree every turn. Up until now, that is. No, my hammer. So now Double gets up to only 3 points from roosts, but 4 points from cardboard is so easy to do. even with the potential for a Woodland Alliance ambush, they have it in 3 battles. They just need to have the warriors to cover it, which they do. And they have the tower. Yeah, it's done. It's wraps. I've got nothing else to talk about, so I just keep saying that it's over. I keep saying that it's over and over. Good game from everyone involved, though, for sure. And they do have another bird card to put in the decree. Wow. So that's 7 of the deck's 14 bird cards. Pretty good. I would say that makes up for their a little unfortunate dice luck. And they weren't even like critical rolls. The one, it didn't matter, and the other 0-0, it really just left 1 mole on the board, which, you know, it did help me a little bit, but it wasn't ultimately that big of a deal. And then up in the top right, they left my tunnel with a suboptimal roll, less than ideal roll, but they ended up picking it up later anyway, I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly. Yep, so just taking their time with their moves, because moving into Sympathy is going to lock in the move and you can't undo it. Just making sure they've got everything in place before they put all the pieces together here. I'd like to record more games if possible, just so I have more stuff to post and you all have more videos to watch. I appreciate everyone who's been coming in from the video I made about the most popular root factions, about the survey I did. People have been leaving some really nice comments on that video. I appreciate it. So if you're new here and you haven't seen a gameplay video before, let me know, what do you think of it? What do you think I could do to improve it? Keeping in mind that I don't really have time to edit videos right now with school. Obviously, that would improve it a good deal. But anything else that you would like to see, or maybe there's, I don't know, audio issues or whatever. I don't know, I'm just saying stuff now because I'm trying to fill time as we watch the birds take their win. Yep, they grab these 2 Sympathy, that tunnel, and they should have a guaranteed victory. But yeah, let me know, and I appreciate you for watching. I'm out of practice being a YouTuber. I'm not having a hard time filling the space. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe, I guess. People say that. GG's. Yep, then they'll pick up 3 from roosts, 1 from the tower, and that'll be the game. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Here we are about to end it, and I'm about to end the recording. Let's see, what is the last chat message? It was still 7 rounds. It was still 7 rounds, but 7 is fast. All right, thanks for watching.